Leaders don't point fingers, they point the way forward. Hey guys, Dan Greer with Forge coming at you today to chat all about extreme ownership. Real leadership starts when the blame game ends. Extreme ownership means taking full responsibility for the mess, then miss and the win. Because what you own, you can change. If you don't own it, you can't fix it. Let's talk a little bit about blame versus ownership and what that looks like. When you're a leader and you blame others, what happens? It keeps you stuck, right? Whereas when you take ownership, it frees you up to actually fix the problem. So in my book, I talk a little bit about stop pointing fingers at other people and start pointing thumbs back at yourself. The question you should be asking yourself about every single situation, no matter what you're in, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, is this: what could I have done differently? That's the question you need to ask yourself. What could I have done different to change the outcome? Not what did they do that made the outcome happen. Not what they should have done differently. Not what they did or what you did was right or wrong. But what could I have done differently to fix this? If I would have done this, what would have happened? If I would have done this, would it have fixed this? Do you see the problem? Do you see what I'm looking at here? Do you see how that works, right? If I come in and I go, I could have made a phone call. I could have switched cell phone service. I could have done XYZ. That's something I have control over. I have no control over what you do. You're listening to this podcast right now. If I tell you, don't shut this podcast off, I have no control over that. I have to stay engaging to keep you here. If this video stinks, if this podcast stinks, you're going to not listen to this. And then you're not going to listen to the next one. I drove you away. I take responsibility for that. It's not your fault you stopped listening to this podcast. It's my fault you stopped listening to this podcast. That is ownership in a nutshell. That's what blame looks like versus ownership. Blame would be like, oh, they left because they're lame. They left because they suck. They left because they don't know what good stuff is. They left because... Do you see? There's no ownership there. That's blame. And what happens? You're already like, I'm leaving. I'm out. I'm checking out. I'm done. Are you blaming or are you owning? Okay? Owning the mess. Even if you didn't cause it, you need to lead through it. How do we own the mess as leaders? That's one of the toughest things that I run into all the time. You know how we own the mess as leaders? We say, here's the problem. How do we fix it? What can I do to help us fix this? What do you need from me to make this go better? One of the things that I tell my team almost every single day is this: what do you need from me to be successful? And when they say nothing, that means they're already either set up for success or they ain't going to do crap. Depends on the person. Depends on what they're doing. Depends on whether they have ownership or not. Own the miss. When you miss the wall, when you miss the hit, when you miss the goals, don't dodge that you didn't hit your goal. Own it. Say, I wanted to hit $40 million in revenue this year and I only made it to 20. Why did I miss it? Learn, and then adjust, and then rally your team to move forward. This is how we're going to make that extra revenue. This is what we're going to do. Boom, let's go. This is how we're doing it. Own the win. Celebrate your people, not your ego. Leaders who own the win give credit away. They give it to everybody else, not to themselves. When somebody pulls the DOT number on our team, you know what I do? I don't say, yeah, I made them do that. They did that right away. No, they do it on their own because you know why? You know why they work fast? Because they know they're going to get credit for it. They know when the client asks me a question, I'm most likely going to send them an answer and then have them send it to the client unless they're already gone for the weekend. And I know the client needs an answer right away because I don't want to bug them. That's giving them the credit. When they don't know the answer, they send me an email and they go, can you help? And I go, yeah, I can help. And then I send the answer back to them instead of to the client. If I sent it to the client or I sent it to my customer, what would happen? I'd be undercutting them. This principle runs through grit, grease, and grace. Grab your copy and start owning your leadership today. And if your company is ready to build a culture of ownership, Eclipse Forged can help you make that into a reality. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll chat with you later.